Watch the Throne dropped this week. Sunday at 11:45 p.m. it dropped. Their strategy was that it went to iTunes first, and then it actually shipped out to retailers on Monday. So there is nothing to actually leak because it's already out, which when you think about it is a brilliant strategy. I don't think they were the first ones to do this, but they're definitely the largest, and I think it's going to change the methodology behind how we receive music first, because we're all using leaks. Well, they were all using leaks, not me. I do think you're going to see the larger albums follow this strategy. Take Care is harder for.
Now you won't see Wayne or Drake do it because one is too late in the game. Because they released like 2 singles already from the album.
What?
Headlines and Marvin's Room. They're going to do the regular, put in the stores and release the singles to radio, put the videos out.
What does them releasing 2 singles have to do with it? They released 2 singles from Watch the Throne.
Not officially. Like, these are official singles.
Does it make a difference?
It really does. Like, they service the shit to radio. They didn't service Otis to radio. They gave it to Flex and like, here, play it.
Is this going to change the game? Are people going to start doing it? You think the larger releases are going to do it, and he's saying, no, I don't think so because of how they've been moving so far. They haven't followed the Otis Watch the Throne protocol.
A piece of this gets out, it's going to throw the whole flow of this album out. So we're going to put out whatever we put out on our own merit, and that's what they did. They put out Ham in January. It didn't connect, so they went back in. Jay said they recreated the album 3 times. They put out Otis. That's the thing that stuck. That's what connected, and then they went. The flow of everything started to come together when they started revealing news, when the track lists started coming out, when the producers started speaking on it, because they was waiting for that one song to connect.
The digital release really ensured that they were able to keep it off the streets from leaking. What they did is they sat down and they had a discussion like, we gotta keep this from leaking, and how can we do that? And they were like, the only way we can do it is a digital release.
They had people come to them.
Yeah,
they nothing left the studio. They went to Australia and recorded in that castle. They had everyone that was working on the project come to them. Producers went to them. Engineers went to them. They really took care of logistics and how everything, not just, you know, mastering and mixing. They took care of like how everything was handled. And usually when you have big albums, when you have a premiere album about to come out, leaks will happen, unofficial or official. References come out, you know, unfinished verses come out. You know, sometimes just a verse and a beat, sometimes just a hook and beat. That kind of throws off the whole flow of an album. So for that not to happen, they knew exactly what they were working with, because stuff like that happened with Jay, stuff like that was happening with Kanye.
There's the only way to keep it off the street. I mean, it's the new model.
The biggest part of it was that they held off on sending it to retailers until after it was out. At the end of the day, everything else that happened before that is sort of irrelevant when you talk about Drake.
If and when Wayne and Drake decide to do that joint album, I think they'll probably do it like that.
They're not large enough as separate entities to just have a digital release, even though Wayne kind of did it with the I'm Not a Human Being. You think?
They're really big. I mean, gotta think about it.
I'm not saying they're not big. Don't, please, all right, Jumbo TV crew, don't misconstrue. I'm not, they're gonna see it. Yeah, they are big. Wayne and Drake are big, but I don't think. Now everybody's gonna say them now.
How big are Wayne and Drake? Lo likes to comment on the penis sizes of artists, which is weird. It's really weird. Like, and he finally messed up and did it on camera. With Wayne and Drake, and I'm glad you guys finally get to see what he's like. It's not me picking on him. He's freaking crazy. He's completely out of control. I want him out of here.
I heard Wayne was big.
Come on.
Low-key knows a lot of artists, but I don't know how he knows how big Lil Wayne and Drake are.
Stop. No, we're not gonna do this. I'm not gonna do this right now. Stop.
So just out of curiosity, like, did you know that they were big together or separately?
That was a pause moment of the decade, just the way he did that and the way he said that shit.
I'm a grown man, so I don't really need to be like no homo, so I don't really give a shit. Like, y'all knew what I was referring to. There's probably gonna be some people out there, yo, niggas low key mad gay, niggas said how big. Like, I really don't give a shit. Like, I love women, women love me, so I don't care. I don't say pause. You hear leaks, you usually hear references, verses that aren't finished, beats that aren't finished, right? They really crafted these joints till they were done. There was actually one leak, and That's My Bitch was recorded like 9 months ago.
We're not talking about like leaking the track. We're talking about the biggest issue is every album that comes out of this caliber, the whole album 2 weeks before street date becomes available online.
But there's also joints that leak out before. That's what I'm saying.
It's too late to prevent leaks coming from that end with Drake, but they can actually prevent the entire album from leaking if they hold off on sending it to retail.
I think that's smart.
They have to.
That's a smart thing to do.
I think so you're saying that Drake is large but not smart.
They're looking They're looking for the reviews in the magazine. They want, yes they are. They want Rolling Stone to review it. Some labels and some artists and some managers leak stuff just to gauge what their demographic wants to hear. Will that single connect? And if when the single leaks and it actually does connect, then they go with it. They start with the promo push. They start with the videos. They start with the cross promotion, the marketing.
Drake has time to set up more listening sessions. It's too late for Carter.
If they're not gonna do it for Carter,
That's what I'm saying. If they haven't taken any kind of precautions with Wayne shit, what you think they're gonna do for Drake?
I know people that never bought albums in their life.
I haven't bought an album since 2002.
And went and bought that.
I bought the shit on Sunday. I'm not dying to buy a Drake album either. There's no disrespect either. I don't hate Drake. I'm not dying to buy his album.
Say it again.
I do not hate Drake. It's this playful jazz. I call it sherbet. He needs the videos. He needs the singles. He needs the radio. He needs that. This is his second album. Jay has what, 11, 12 albums? Kanye has what, 6? Drake has 2 and 4 mixtapes.
the criticisms I've heard come back from it is that all the rich talk they was spitting and like all the money talk. I personally don't have a problem with that. If they're sitting there talking about money and you don't have money, I think in best case scenario it motivates you to get up and go get some. But I think in worst case scenario it actually makes you feel like these motherfuckers, like fuck these dudes, and you start getting on that hater, sour, bitter shit. But you would be that anyway. If you're gonna be bitter from that, you'd be bitter anyway.
A bone of contention for a lot of people is not the fact that they're talking rich rap. The issue is that they're talking it at this moment. Not only are we in a bad economy, I mean, the day it came out, the Dow went down, 634. The economy is like the worst it's ever been. In some people's eyes, it couldn't have come at a more inopportune time.
To those some people, I would say, I'm almost positive that neither Jay-Z or Kanye had that much to do with the Dow dropping. To the whole thing that the album is not socially relevant, I would implore you guys to actually read the lyrics. To Murder to Excellence, to Made in America, to New Day. Seriously, they are speaking about a lot of very real things. You have 2 black men talking to their unborn children. Murder to Excellence, they're talking about Chicago, which I'm from Chicago, so that hit home, literally. The violence that's happening there. So they are talking about socially relevant things. I think that people are so focused on, oh, they have a Maybach. No, they're talking about everything. The second point though, and I said this on Twitter, no one complains that Ye talks too much about losing his mom. No one complains that Jay shouldn't reference losing his nephew in a car that he bought, or his dad, or his uncle. No one complains about them talking or growing up without fathers. Why is it that we want these artists to scream their misery, but we want them to whisper their successes? That to me is so telling of where your mind is at. If you have a problem with 2 self-made black men saying, yo, I came from here and I'm here, I want to celebrate that shit. And if I were in a position where I'm lost and I'm broke and I need some motivation, I don't want to hear somebody telling me how awful something is. I want to talk to and I want to hear from the guy that made it. Nobody wants financial coaching, or nobody wants like a real-time speech from somebody who's struggling just like you. I don't get it. I think that people are caught up in, I don't have it, so I don't want to hear about it. And to me, that mentality will always keep you from having it.
Scream their pain and whisper their success. Like that was, she get the Rick Ross grunt for that. Bro.
Consistent criticism that I've heard from Watch the Throne is that it's too braggadocious. They're bragging too much about what they have, and not one person has yet to complain that they're too real, that they're speaking on too painful of things, that they are speaking too much on the deaths of Ye's mother or Jay's nephew, or growing up in a fatherless household. Like, no one is saying anything about that, and I just feel like these critics, they want these guys to scream their pain, but they want them to whisper their achievements, and that's wrong. It's ass backwards.
I ain't been to Paris, but I love that song. Y'all need to just relax, get motivated, whether it's music, whether it's education, whether it's whatever you're involved in. Like, stop looking at the fact that these guys are just throwing stuff in your face. If you don't want to look at it, turn off the song. turn off the video.
But then what are you gonna listen to?
I'm not saying that you have to listen to this and you're totally wrong if you don't listen to Niggas in Paris or New Day or Murder to Excellence. There's something for everyone. If the luxury rap is not for you, then that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's somebody out there that's struggling, that's at your level, that's trying to get to the level you want to be at. There's someone that's speaking in your voice, in your tone. Don't get upset because Jay and Kanye celebrating their success. Just find somebody who's at your level that is struggling but still has a good attitude about it.
Some people just on this crabs in the barrel shit, they just happy being miserable. Like they say misery loves company. I'm not saying that applies to everybody who doesn't like the album. If the content was a little limited, like you say, there's plenty of other hip hop out there for you to go get. But some of these comments I've been seeing, it's like, yo, why are you so angry?
These niggas are too successful. Like, what? All right, cool. You start from the bottom. And now they're at the top. Like, what is not the like? Okay, luxury rap, cool. You don't like it, don't listen to it. But you have to applaud their contributions, their trials and tribulations. Like, and they did it in broken homes.
He's saying, I wish I could give you this feeling of planking on a million. Listen, don't just focus on million.
That was a nice little luxury rap, but everybody's planking. But he's like, yo, I wish I could give you this feeling that I have $1 million right now. I want you to plank on it with me.
But he's been dealing with that forever. What was that line from the other joint? Do you dudes listen to music or do you just skim through it?
You know there's a triple entendre in Otis? It's cock back, snap back, see my cut through the holes. It is talking about a hat, talking about a gun, talking about football.
Cut through the holes.
Yeah.
It's a triple entendre.
The guy who wrote an article about how a triple entendre is impossible, Jay's like, fine, I'll find one. If you can't make up triple entendres, there's rappers for you. Little B.
My favorite song changes daily, but it's a steady rotation between Made in America, Murder to Excellence, and Gotta Have It.
Welcome to the Jungle, Made in America, New Day.
Niggas in Paris, it's not, I like it, it's not like my favorite song, it's like the song that just hypes you up. Like, I seriously was listening to Niggas in Paris as I'm washing the dishes and almost broke a plate. Like, it's like, it gets you hyped for no fucking reason.
I'm gonna say one nobody else agrees. Lift Off is a good song. Ye's melody and his mumble raps and that, I like it. Otis, Made in America.
The album's not a classic.
It could be. Very like
Clear mark of a classic is 10 years from now, are there people who are going to be sitting there going, damn, that album banks, put it on right now.
I think they'll be saying that because it was Ye and Jay together, not necessarily because of material.